Welcome to AP Physics B. I'm Mr. Clark, and this is a video introduction to the course. I'll talk a little bit about each of these areas, and if you have more questions, we can talk about them anytime you want. Okay, first, seating charts. This is the seating chart for the large section that meets in Cornell Lecture Hall twice each cycle. The way you'll find your seat is you find your name in this list, alphabetical list, and then the corresponding number. Then locate that number in the seating chart and walk to the front of the room and figure out where that seat is. You will sit in this assigned seat unless you're taking a test or quiz. We'll have a different seating chart for those occasions. Notice that you're grouped into groups of 3 along each row. That group will be your team during the large section. You'll work together with that group to think about, to verbalize, and record your reasoning for each page of every handout that you get during class time. By working together, you will make much more progress than even the brightest member of your group would alone. The course website. As you can see, the course website, which is pictured here, has a pretty simple layout. It's updated frequently with information you need for the current work in class. It will contain schedule information, cycle sheets, selected solutions to the handout in the days prior to each unit test, along with files you might need for lab, etc. You should bookmark this page in your web browser. Okay, there's the URL. You'll visit it often. All right, now let's take a look at how the course is organized. The course is organized into units. There are a total of 15 units through the year, 9 in the first semester and 6 in the second semester. Units typically include work on the handout, 1 or 2 labs, a quiz, a practice test, and test. For each meeting of class, there is a number in parentheses on this semester overview that you can find on the website. If you take a look at that, there's the number for the very first meeting right there, 1.1 through 1.4. Okay? That means that by the time you come to class next time, your very second class, you need to have completed through the end of page 4 in your handout. Okay? To help you understand the importance of doing your work in a timely manner, we will check this, that you've completed that near the beginning of that next class each time, and subtract credit from your homework score based on how much and how well you did or did not complete the assigned pages. If you have it all the way completed, then you'll have still a perfect homework score for that unit. Remember, the expectation for this AP class is that you'll do roughly 50 minutes of homework for every 1 hour of class time. On test days, you'll bring your completed handout and practice test with you in a 3-ring binder to the test. And while you are taking the test, we will grade your homework on a scale of 1 to 10 based on completion and clarity. If you lost points earlier in the unit, your maximum score will be less than 10. All right, the teaching method for this class. This is a snapshot of page 1 of your handout, and it shows that there's a section of text here followed by some boxes that are boxed in areas that are either blank or partly blank. Your role as a student is to read the text part aloud with your group and then think about how to use that information to answer the questions corresponding to each of the boxed areas. You will need to think carefully. You'll need to talk with your team and to explain to each other from time to time what you need to do. Sometimes you'll need to ask for help. Your teachers and TAs have the role of facilitating this process by asking questions that will help guide your thinking in the right direction. This is a powerful way of learning, of working together and thinking that will likely stay with you forever. Once you understand the correct answer, write your answers in the boxes clearly and completely so that an outside observer could understand what you were writing. Well, this is probably not a familiar learning method for you, and it might seem uncomfortable at first. We teach you this way because it is the proven way to help you learn the best. as evidenced by our historic AP scores, which are much higher than the national average. Interestingly, our average scores for the AP exam have noticeably increased in the last few years as we have more fully adopted this teaching method. What makes it more effective? The answer is complicated, but some reasons are the thinking and problem solving that you have to do are more active ways of using your brain than listening. Also, we are able to give much more individual attention to your misconceptions since we aren't busy lecturing away. And finally, by engaging the material with your team, you will uncover misconceptions you have about physics right away. Those wouldn't even be uncovered at all in a traditional classroom. There's a lot of interesting background behind this method, particularly centered around the Physics Education Research Group at the University of Washington. Please ask us anytime about it if you want to learn more. All right, class policies. You'll get a course information sheet on the first day which has the class policies on it. You need to read this thoroughly and return the part that requires a signature. I'll give a preview now of some of the key points. All right, the first big thing is there's no textbook for AP Physics here. Your unit handouts will have all the information you need. Along the way, you need to organize your unit handouts, lab reports, practice tests, and quizzes in a 3-ring binder. You should organize them by unit. If you keep everything together, at the end of the year, you'll have your own physics books partly written in your language. Another detail, grading. If you take a look at the grading scale, you'll see here that the 76% through 100% is an A. Just be aware of that from the beginning. It takes a while for a lot of students to get used to that when they see their test scores. The way points work in AP Physics B is all points from labs and from tests, homework grades, quizzes, all go into the same pool, and your quarter grade is based on your total points divided by the total possible points. Unit quiz points count as extra credit, so they add to both your total and to the total possible. If you get a 0 on a quiz, that doesn't hurt you in any way since those points don't count unless you earn them. Notice also that the first semester exam counts for 1/3 of your grade and that there is no second semester exam at all. Okay, some final details. Lab reports are typically due on the day of the next lab meeting. Late labs are discouraged, but if you do have to hand one in, you'll have a bank of 3 late lab days each semester. Once you have used those up, you won't get any credit for subsequent labs that are handed in late. That's all for the introduction. Thank you so much for watching, and let's have a great year together in AP Physics B.